Hi everybody, welcome. Tammy from Homesteading in the City with Tammy. Today's video, I am going to show you how to make jam from frozen fruit. If that is something that interests you, stick around. So before we get started with the jam making, I just wanted to welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate all of you who have stopped by to visit my channel and subscribe to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome and glad you stopped by. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider doing so. It does benefit me by you subscribing to my channel. It's free, it costs nothing, and for you guys to subscribe, like, and share my videos benefits me greatly. So please consider doing that. Okay, let's get on with our tutorial.
Today's sponsor is Evil Uncle Grimace Woodworking. It is an online store where you can get handmade, one-of-a-kind wood products. Products are made using sustainably harvested domestic and exotic hardwoods. The company currently offers cutting boards and coasters with additional products to come. Check out the website to see what they have to offer.
So the book that I use for most of my canning is this complete book of home preserving. I really like this book. It was given to me by a friend who knew that I did canning, and I use it all the time. It's a ball book. You're able to get that on Amazon, and if I can find the link, I'll put the link in the description below for that. The recipe that we're going to be using is going to be in here. We're going to use the pectin powder recipe. I have a lot of pectin powder, so I figured I would use that this time for my recipe. You want to look at the recipe in the book, but you also want to read the recipe that is in your box of pectin so you know how much sugar and juice and everything that you need to add to your fruit. First thing you'll need to do though is make sure you get your fruit out of the freezer and make sure it is completely thawed so that you can measure it correctly. So let me show you what I'm going to do there. So this is the recipe that I have in the book that we're going to be using. It tells you here we need 4 cups of finely chopped pitted peaches. So let's see how we're going to get those. Just a moment. So it just happens to be, there we go, the recipe in the pectin recipe is exactly the same as the recipe that I have in my book using the pectin. That doesn't always happen, so you just want to make sure that you're using the exact same amount of stuff for the pectin and different things like that. So let's get our fruit ready. So the first couple of things you want to do is make sure you have your jars ready. Also get your canner ready, get some water in that, get it on one of the back burners and let it start getting warm. Once you get your jars washed, you can let them sit in some hot water in your sink so that they are warm when you put the jam into it. And then you want to get your peaches ready, or whatever fruit you're using. Make sure it is thawed so that you can use it. It's in our recipe, it said finely chopped. Well, our peaches, when I froze them, I just sliced them into slices, so they're rather large, but they're soft. So I'm just going to take a potato masher and I'm going to mash them up into smaller pieces. That way it'll allow me to have smaller pieces to go, and then I am going to do a double batch, so I need 8 cups of peaches. So I'm going to show you what this looks like when I get it all smashed up. Keeping in mind when you are smashing this up, we've got to heat all this up, and they will dissolve and break down a little bit, so you don't need to do them too much. I was going to suggest putting them through the food processor, but since they are so soft at this point right now, they'll just cook down, and we will end up having some small chunks into the fruit that we have when we put it in our pot to mix our sugar into it. So just taking that, however you can get them into a little bit smaller pieces, go ahead and do that. I mean, if you really like no chunks in your jam, then absolutely put them through the food processor and it'll just be pulp when you put it in. The when you put it in the pot. But they will cook down, and it will, as you stir it and get the sugar into it, they will start breaking apart when you start cooking them and heating them up. So that's what they look like when they just get smashed in. Like I said, I will figure out my 8 cups, and then I will show you what we're going to do with the recipe. Okay, making sure you follow the recipe that is in your pectin, because all pectins are a little bit different, so you want to make sure you follow the recipe that is in your pectin. Follow those directions and heat this up like you're supposed to, making sure that if you are making a double batch, that is the biggest you can do. You can't do 3 batches because the pectin will fail. So making sure that you don't do no more than 2 batches at one time in one pot. You can have 2 pots going with 2 batches in them, but you can't triple a batch of jam because it will not set. So go ahead and follow the directions to your pectin, and I will show you what mine looks like when I get done. Making sure when you get your pectin in that you get it stirred in real well so that you have no clumps, and that way it won't you won't have any jelly sections around the outside of your fruit. Making sure you have your canning jars waiting for you and your canner getting ready to heat up on the burner so that it is getting warm. That way when you are ready, when your fruit is ready, you're able to put it in the jars and then get it right in the canner in the hot water, because your jars are hot, the canner water is hot. You can put it all together, and then it's just a process of 10 minutes in a water bath canner. So we're almost getting ready for this to start boiling. Once it starts boiling, we'll get our sugar in, and we will let it boil for 1 minute. We're going to put all our sugar in at one time, and then we're just going to let it boil for 1 minute. So we're almost there, letting that thicken up there. The other thing is I'm not going to show you how to fill the jars and how to put them in the canner. I will link my canning video in the description below this video if you need to have detailed on how to do that. But I just wanted to show you how to take frozen fruit and be able to make jam with it. So that's basically the gist of this video, is to do that. So once we get that ready, I'll show you when it's in the canner, what it looks like, but I'm not going to show you step by step how to watch the canner and all of that. That, like I said, is in one of my other canning videos, and I will link that down below in the description. Okay, the jam is in the water bath canner, making sure that you have enough water to cover the tops of the jars. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's about 1 inch over those tall ones. I have 2 different sizes in there. But just making sure that it covers. It'll process for 10 minutes. Once it's done, you can turn the heat off and let it come down about 5 minutes. Then take the lid off for 5 minutes. Let them sit in the water, and then you can take them out and put them on the counter. So that is how you make jam from frozen fruit. Well guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial on how to make jam from frozen fruit. It's always nice to be able to, if you go into the grocery store and they have a clearance on some frozen fruit and stuff like that, you can grab it and know that you can actually make some nice good jam for your family with the frozen fruit. It also, I usually end up getting my fruit in the summertime, and it's too hot and I don't want to stand in front of the kitchen or stay in the kitchen and cook jam all afternoon. So I will take the time and I will slice it up and I'll freeze it. And this is how I do a lot of my jams, is by using frozen fruit in the winter when I want the house warm and I don't mind standing in the kitchen because I can't go outside. So, you know, in the summertime we don't get a lot of days that are really, really nice and warm. So I just want to make sure that I can be outside as much as possible. So being able to do this in the wintertime is a lot easier for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. It does benefit me by you subscribing to my YouTube channel. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Bye.